A few months ago, the self-help YouTube channel School of Life made a video about OCD, and it's been bouncing around in my mind ever since.
OCD is a trauma from the past that has been projected into the future and metastasized into a paranoia. It can therefore only be solved by persistent detective work.
The video makes two claims. First, that OCD is caused by childhood trauma.
Through patient investigation, discover that the terror of gas poisoning had its origins in a depressed mother who appeared to want to asphyxiate us in childhood.
Second, that because it's caused by childhood trauma, the only way to resolve OCD is by getting to the bottom of that trauma, figuring out what harmed you as a child, and dealing with it.
We need to travel back to the source of dread and drain it properly. The world will only feel like a safe place once the unfortunate sufferer remembers their original injury, localizes it, and separates it off from modern-day anxieties.
The video doesn't cite any studies, it doesn't evidence its claims in any way, it simply takes this argument as self-evidently true, as though it's a logical fact what it's saying, and it simply isn't, right? For one thing, we don't really know what causes OCD to this extent. Like, there could be biological factors, there could be socialized factors that aren't caused by childhood trauma, there could be a lot of things that cause OCD. It's really hard to say. But even if we did know for a fact that OCD was caused by childhood trauma, this would not necessarily mean that the only or best way to resolve it is by figuring out what that trauma was, going to the bottom of your childhood and talking about it. There are, of course, problems for which solving them requires tracing it back to its origin. You know, if you have a leaky pipe, the only way to make the pipe not leak is to find the hole, right? Obviously. But there are also problems for which the origin is far less important. If your house is on fire, for instance, it doesn't really matter what caused that. You don't need to figure out its origin until much later. Really, you need to get out of the house. You need to figure out a way to get out of the house. That's priority numero uno. And it's not clear at all to me what kind of problem OCD is. The prevailing treatment of the mental illness is usually cognitive behavioral therapy, drugs, stuff that gets you out of harmful thought loops that are making your life worse. I'm not trying to present myself as some kind of medical expert here. I don't know the best way to cure OCD. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. But isn't it disturbing that School of Life isn't either? That they're literally just saying this? That they just say with the utmost confidence that the only way to resolve OCD is with psychodynamic therapy? Like, doesn't that disturb you? It's so interesting to me that generally speaking, science is seen as the best way of dealing with things, studying problems, figuring them out, running trials. But when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to our psychological makeup, it seems like people just think you can say whatever. You can just make stuff up. You can just say, oh, that kind of sounds like it makes sense. Of course you have to talk about your childhood trauma to resolve OCD. And of course OCD is caused by childhood trauma. It just makes sense. No, I think it's genuinely dangerous to treat our minds with such recklessness. I really don't like it. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Bye.